The power of a made-up mind. Asterisk, there comes a moment in every life when the noise fades, the distractions dissolve, and all that remains is the sound of your own heartbeat. And a decision. Asterisk, not a wish, not a hope, not a fleeting dream scribbled on a vision board. A decision. Absolute, final, immovable. A moment when you stop waiting for a sign and become the sign. When you stop begging the world to change and instead change yourself so fiercely that the world has no choice but to respond. Asterisk, that is the power of a made-up mind. Asterisk, the man who knows what he wants and refuses to turn back will always defeat. The man who doubts, even if the doubter has more talent, more connections, more luck. Because life does not reward the most gifted, it rewards the most certain. Asterisk, Edison made up his mind that he would create light, even after 1,000 failures. Lincoln made up his mind that the Union would hold, even when the country fell into blood and division. Mandela made up his mind that his cause was worth decades in a cell. Asterisk, a made-up mind is a weapon, sharper than steel, louder than fear. It carves new paths where none existed and silences every excuse. Asterisk, most people live their lives halfway in, half believing, half trying, half living. They flirt with ambition, but never marry it. They touch greatness for a moment, only to retreat when it demands more. Why? Because their mind was never fully made up. Asterisk, they let failure speak louder than desire. They let the opinions of the small-minded drown out the whispers of destiny. Asterisk, but the few, the very few, they burn the ships. They cut the safety lines. They look doubt in the eye and say, "You have no home here." Asterisk, that's not ego. That's not arrogance. That's resolve. And resolve is rarer than genius. Asterisk, there is a moment when you decide, not try, decide that you will rise, that you will build, that you will create a life so undeniable, so precise, so unshakable, that nothing, no person, no failure, no delay will be allowed to stop it. Asterisk, and in that moment, life begins to shift. Asterisk, the universe doesn't respond to your wants. It responds to your identity. And once you become the person who refuses to quit, who acts in alignment with a purpose so clear, it burns through fog, the world begins to rearrange itself around your will, because reality bends to those who will not be moved. Your mind, when made up, becomes magnetic. It begins to attract ideas, people, opportunities, not because they were never there before, but because you were blind before. You were in two minds, and a divided mind sees nothing clearly. Asterisk, when your mind is made up, you stop waiting for motivation, because discipline takes its place. You stop chasing approval, because conviction replaces the need for applause. You stop being busy and start being effective. There's a clarity that cuts through the noise, a knowing that the work you're doing today is part of a much bigger vision. Asterisk, that vision is not something you see with your eyes. It's something you feel with your soul. And a made-up mind is the lens that brings it into focus. Asterisk, you will be tested. That is certain. Asterisk, you will be underestimated, rejected, overlooked, even mocked. But that is the tax for being decisive in a world that worships indecision. Asterisk, and when those tests come, remember this: storms do not move mountains, they shape them. Asterisk, let every rejection carve out more hunger. Let every failure deepen your wisdom. Let every betrayal sharpen your focus. Asterisk, because the made-up mind doesn't just endure, it transforms through the trial. Asterisk, Ford didn't ask if others believed in the automobile. He believed enough for everyone. Carnegie didn't wait for the right economy to build his empire. He decided what the future would be, and then built it brick by brick. Asterisk, you do not wait for conditions to be perfect. You decide that your mind is made up, and then you make the conditions perfect by refusing to accept anything less. Asterisk. You shift from a passive receiver of life to an active creator of destiny. Asterisk. The wind does not shape you. You become the wind. Asterisk. And the deeper your resolve, the more clearly you will see that success is not something you chase. It's something you become.